welcome to a beautiful sunny day here in Sebring as we kick off the 2023 Speed Tour. With me once again, as ever, smiling away, Ben Sissel, but I think we should be smiling. We're here at the home of where Trans Am began, and once again, Bumper Fields looking ahead to 2023.
Yeah, unbelievable. If you've been joining us on Speedtour TV on YouTube, welcome. So excited to be back. It feels like we were just at your home circuit of the Americas. It was a short off season. Back here at Sebring International Raceway, and we are going to start off with a banger. International GT celebrating 10 years. Another sold-out field. 59 cars are going to take the green. And, Jonathan, you love these GT cars, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Ken Fangler and his team have done a heck of a job over the years. And once again, Rounders surrounded at the moment by this amazing field of Porsches. We've got the Stuttgart Cup and the Maranello Cup. But don't forget, the Speed Tour also includes Trans Am, as I mentioned, SVRA, F4 and FR. So plenty to come as the season unfolds. We're going to all the iconic circuits as the season unfolds.
Nice. Well, Jonathan, I think you got to take off to get to the booth, right? I'm going to talk to Ken Fangler. But first, let me just make a reminder before you leave. Leave us comments. We are going to be up in the booth monitoring this. This is your chance to give us some insight if you've got some expertise in some of these cars in all of our groups. And it's your chance to yell at the commentators a little bit. I'm sure there's many times that you've wanted to say, oh, don't say that or do that, and we might start a war with you. Feel free to leave comments. But, Jonathan, hurry up on up to the booth.
Right.
I can't wait to join you up there. But
I'll
Ken
let you
Fangler, join us up here real quick. And we're going to kind of walk through the group. But I've got to brag on my friend Ken Fangler, celebrating his 10-year anniversary. And, Ken, I got to say, I was with you at the beginning. It was rough the first 3 or 4 years. We were hoping for 6 or 8 cars. We've got some of those OGs with us today, but how does this feel? I mean, this is just monumental success in just such a short time.
Yeah, it's been an overnight success. It just wasn't last night, as we say, but it's been a wonderful thing. And this event, as the first of the year, this Speed Tour event, you have to look at it. I call it the SS event. Could be super sport, but I think it's a spectator smorgasbord. There is something for everyone here between Trans Am, SVRA, and, of course, our group, International GT, was my personal favorite.
Nice, and we were talking to the people watching this broadcast to leave us comments, rude or whatever. You're going to be up there in the booth with me. What are some of the things that we can be expecting from International GT? More sold-out fields at the most iconic tracks?
Well, certainly, we've got 11 races on the schedule. We go to Atlanta, Daytona, Mid-Ohio. This year, we're going to Sonoma and Laguna Seca. I'm old school, as you can tell. And, it would be Sears Point, really. But we're looking forward to going to California and expanding our schedule. And due to Tony Perella and Perella Holdings, we have this platform of the best racetracks at the best time of the year.
Nice. And speaking of, we will be at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, and the Mission Foods Sonoma Speed Tour with our very own International GT driver, Juan Gonzalez of Mission Foods. Ken, looking forward to a great year. I'm going to walk up and down the grid. Feel free to come over and give me insight if you'd like, but let's go up and down the grid, starting in the exhibition class. These two beautiful Audi R8s. They used to be rivals, and now they're teammates. And we've got cameras in one of them. So starting up here, Juan Lopez Santini. He had some problems here last year at Sebring. Both of these cars were brand new to both drivers. They had a little bit of a fire, both safely in pit lane. They've got them going. And look at those gloves. Juan Lopez Santini got my email to wear brightly colored gloves. I love that. And then I know a lot of people have been asking us about this, so let's give you some behind the scenes. Behind the scenes right here, we've got this live view box that is broadcasting through an HDMI cable through Geronimo Guzman's camera, and that is going to the Isle of Man that I'm talking to my producers. They're in my ears, probably yelling at me today. And that is how this is all happening. So he is one of our camera cars, Geronimo Guzman from Mexico. Really great driver. Then we've got Tom Pank here, second in the championship last year in the Mission Foods GT3 Cup Trophy Championship to his son Lucas. So that was really cool. Our Rookie of the Year, let's get some comments from Steven as he's getting in here. Steven, we'll let my camera, I'm already making our cameraman mad, and we've been on the air for 3 minutes. Steven Hammond, Rookie of the Year last year, sporting that Magnum PI stash. He's got his dad behind him in our other camera car, but how does it feel to be back with International GT and Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I mean, I love this place. I love battling that guy right there in that orange car. Last year, it was just back and forth.
David Tuati's who he's talking about.
We don't need to mention his name. We'll see enough of that on the broadcast today.
Yeah, and if you were paying attention last year, they never got, this is probably the furthest they've ever been apart, even on the track. Yeah, you're getting roasted, Tuati.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. And that's what this is. International GT's all about the fun, but green flag drops, what's your strategy?
Just hang with Pank. Try and hang with the Audis as much as possible. Keep these two R's in front of that guy over there, and just have a good time.
Nice. I love it. And you see how he finishes with have a good time. That is the theme of International GT. Then we come up through here. We've got Dr. Reg Williams with Greystone Eye, one of our greatest racers. I'm so glad to see him here. He's usually with us at Road Atlanta, VIR, things like that. Hopefully he's doing the whole season. Then Tuati, your boy up there was talking smack. This is as far away as you guys have been ever. How's it feel?
It sucks to be behind him, I can tell you that, but you've seen for all last year, it doesn't last long. We've had amazing racing. Stephen Hammond is just fantastic to race against. He keeps me honest. It's been really wonderful. And we're here in between, GT3Rs with our 4 liters. 4 liter improved, correct, but still, it's just amazing to be around these cars. What a great freaking weekend. IGT rocks.
All right, so no offense, but you're kind of further back than I was thinking. Are you sandbagging? What's your strategy here?
No, not really sandbagging at all. It was really hard to put a lap down with so many cars on the track. I couldn't get a clean lap. I looked at my fastest lap on the data, and there was like 4 corners that I was held up by either a Cayman or me not, making the apex perfect. And my fastest lap was really ugly. So no, I'm gonna go get him.
Nice. I love it. So keep an eye out for this bright orange Miami flavored car here of David Tuati with TLM. Then as we come up, one of my favorite racers in the field, Juan Gonzalez. If you know anything about me, you know that my wife actually says, there's other food other than Mexican food. I love Mission Foods. I think about this man every Tuesday. One of the biggest, longest sponsors in International GT. Juan, here we are on the grid right outside of Mission Foods Turn 17. How does it feel to be in such a group? You've been here since the beginning, and when we were like maybe 6, 8, 10 cars. Now we're at almost 60 cars. That's got to feel good.
This is great that we have such a great field now, 60 cars in the last 2 years. We get to know each other. We try to race as competitive as we can. Okay, but this is a lot of fun to be here.
And you've got your son racing with you this weekend.
I got my son back. The last year he raced with us was 4 years ago. Then he's got he gave me a granddaughter, so now he's back in racing. Okay.
I love it. And then you're the reason we're going out to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and the Mission Foods Sonoma Speedtour. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, this is great opportunity for IGT to go to the West Coast, and we can bring more crowd from there also, more Porsche fans.
Perfect. Well, good luck out there, Juan. I love it. And then we just got a whole field, like we were saying, of these GT3 Cup cars. So much fun to be out here. Marcus Vento there. And then we're having a little bit of camera problems here. It is our first going, and I can never speak at the same audio level. So, Tony, our cameraman, I'm really sorry about that. I'm going to get better, though, but feel free to roast me online in the comments. Nathan Bird, running in just about everything last season, is in this GT3 Porsche Cup car here this weekend. Are you running the whole weekend in this, Nathan?
Oh yeah, this weekend's going to be really, really fun. We're running this thing in 3 different classes, and it's going to be Group 10, IGT, and Trans Am, and an XGT class. So just looking to get as much seat time as possible in this thing, and hopefully start the weekend out with the win in this car.
Nice, I love it. So he's going to be running SVRA Group 10, International GT, and XGT in the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli. Unbelievable from Nathan Bird. This is our other camera car here. James Hammond has our other camera car. This is a different car than I know him in. I'm not sure if it just got re-wrapped, re-liveried, or if this is a new car. Jeremy, is this a new car, or is this just the wrap? New car for James Hammond, so look for him to be moving up the field there. Unbelievable. These Porsche Cup cars, they're so pretty. Such great racing here. And let me explain something. So this is the Mission Foods Porsche GT3 Cup class. The two Audis up front are running exhibition. There's the Maranello Cup, which are our Ferraris. And then we've got the Stuttgart Cup, which are the Porsche Caymans. And I've got to highlight them. So, Tony, if we can make our way over here to the Stuttgart Cup Championship. That's the Caymans, like this car right here, of Jan Francis Formeda. Beautiful looking, like Red Bull Cayman in the Stuttgart. And these Caymans, actually International GT was started on the platform of these Caymans, and it seems like it just kind of ebb and flows. Then it went to the Porsche Cup cars, kind of started to dominate, but now I'm starting to see a resurgence of these Caymans, and there's a huge class as we look at that Norwood Auto Italia car of Colin Cohen in the Maranello Cup. But look at the livery, the Porsche livery, kind of like a tribute livery to the Porsches of old that would have raced here at the 12 Hours of Sebring years ago. I love these little nods to the homage and to the heritage of these cars. These Caymans, you can see here, that's the 3.8 class. There's a 4-liter class in the Caymans. So the Cayman group is really starting to heat up. We had a great championship battle between Maria Mejia and Joe Rizzo in the Caymans last year. And that pretty much does it. 59 cars. They're late to the grid, so International GT people, I'm going to have to yell at you. You got to be closer to the grid because Tom's pulling his hair out. But, Jonathan, I hope you've caught your breath. That's a long run up to the commentator's booth. I'm sending it back to you, Jonathan.
Perfect stuff, Ben. Yeah, not a problem. Oh, I've been doing fartlek and athletic Olympic training over the winter. I don't know why you'd think I'd be out of breath. I got this place down tap. Beautiful shot here of Sebring. It's very flat here in the middle of Florida. It's where all the fruit is grown, but of course this circuit, this name stands out. It's where Trans Am began back in 1966, the longest road running series in North America, and they'll be in action in TA2 coming up later. But we start our day with the IGT, and it's so big a grid that we have to split the 52 runners into two sections or two split grids to start this race. That's how big a field this is, over 52 cars. And interestingly enough, you heard Ben mention there the Porsche and the Ferraris, the Stuttgart and the Maranello Cups. Well, yes, there is still an abundance of both, but it's interesting to see the Audi R8 have also stepped in here with their LMS GT3 car and have been the fastest men out there, with Juan Lopez Santini with a 202.987, the fastest man of the weekend so far. I love that Brummer's Porch, the number 58. And for those of you who know the Daytona 24 Hours, you'll have seen those famous Brumos colors many a time. And Mark Sandridge at the wheel of that number 58 at the moment. He currently in 21st position, and alongside him, not far away, the 188 of Thomas Ballester. And absolute perfect conditions here. We're used to a little bit of wind, but it's very still at the moment, very still. And the heat, though, is typically Floridan, and I know the rest of the country is suffering. And wherever you're tuning in around the world, I hope you've got decent weather, but I know that certainly in the west and north of the USA anyway, a lot of snow and heavy weather. Even in California today. Well, we're California dreaming. We're heading to Sonoma later in the year, but for now, we stay. We chase the sun, if you will, as we are amongst the orange groves here in Florida. We'll be on board with several of the cars, and keep an eye on the onboard because you get a speed at the bottom right. You can see who's driving it. This is the Audi R8 of Guzman, the man Geronimo Guzman, who lines up with that Audi in second place. So two Audis at the front. He did a 204.9. You can also see in that top left the position he is on track, and that gives you a nice illustration as to whether he's coming into traffic or where he is on track, about to get on the main straight. And if he's looking for an overtake, you'll be able to, as you go on board with him, see exactly what he can see effectively. Such is the technology. We've got plenty more to tell you about that. We've got some new innovations this year. For those of you at the track, we've also got some simulators down in the Trans Am hauler, so feel free to head out and do a bit of that if you're here. But as you can see, they are getting out on track. Massive field heading out. And in a moment, I will hand over to both Ben and Ken Fengler, excuse me. There is a bit of wind, a little bit of breeze down there. It's funny because looking at the back of the circuit where the flags are, where these guys are heading out, there's a nice breeze, but looking out here on the front of pit row, the tree's not really moving. The flag's kind of not at half mast. Well, Honda Civic is out there as always. Honda have been a perennial follower of this sport and all of the Speedtour. And of course we use Honda engines in the single-seaters, which will be coming up from NOLA in New Orleans in a couple of weeks' time. Those are the two Audis. We go on board with Geronimo Guzman in the second of the two big Audis. And you'll see, I mentioned the bottom right and the top left. Well, don't forget also, in the bottom left, you'll be able to see him hands on the wheel, working the car. And I like that combination because as you can see where he is on track, you can look to the bottom left and see just how bumpy this Sebring circuit is and just how much hard work each one of them is putting in here. Ben Sissel joins me here in the booth. In a moment, Ken Fengler will, I'm sure, be up here. But Ben, I mean, you mentioned 10 years. It just goes from strength to strength, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's just crazy. This should be kind of like a study at business schools of how to just do things right, especially in motorsports, because to grow like this, and it doesn't seem like there's an end to it or a ceiling to this growth. It seems like it's just going to keep getting stronger and stronger. So if you're joining us on Speedtour TV on YouTube, I'm going to be monitoring the comments there, but I'm going to go through this huge grid and field of cars as it looks like we're trying to make the pace car go super slow just so all the cars can get out to the grid and out to the field on time. So starting in first place, welcome back to the series, is Juan Lopez Santini in a 2016 Audi R8. Then Geronimo Guzman running an exhibition class, just like Juan Lopez Santini, 2015 Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo. Tom Pank, last year's runner-up in his Porsche 4R 2013. Stephen Hammond, Rookie of the Year, just awarded last night in his GT4i. That I is improved as they come into the Bridge Hull Bennett turn 7. Porsche GT3, Bob Neopol in his 4R, starting 5th. In 6th is Reg Williams. Starting 7th is from Miami, David Tuati. Paul Reisman is starting 8th in his 2018. Juan Fan, last year's Maranello Cup champion, is actually moved back to Porsche in a GT3R Cup, starting 9th. Juan Gonzalez with Mission Foods rounds out the top 10. 2019 Porsche GT3R Cup car. Marcos Vento is 11th. Nathan Bird, who we talked to at the grid, is 12th. James Hammond, we've got a camera in him, is starting 13th. Jay Smith, 14th. David Harrington, 15th. Javier Ripoll is 16th. Scott Blind from St. Louis is 17th. Frank Vitiello is in his 2019 is 18th. Price Ford 19th. Juan Gonzalez Jr. 20th, so his dad's in 10th and he's in 20th. Welcome back Mark Sandridge in that beautiful Brumos Porsche. Jonathan, you were commenting on that. 2018 Porsche GT3R. Thomas Ballister, 2015 Porsche GT3 in 22nd, Charles Craig in 23rd, Christopher Lee 24th. Our GT3 Cup Mission Foods champion, Lucas Pank, all the way back at 25th in his 3.8 liter. Then our first Ferrari in Maranello Cup is Colin Cohen from Norwood Auto Italia out of Texas, starting 26th. Bob Weisen 27th, Bill Riddell 28th, our founder. Albert Lukasik 29th, John Reisman is 30th from Interlaken Inn all the way out at Lime Rock. Russell Wittenberg is 31st. Brad Blum, 32nd. David Willens, 33rd. I got to hurry. John DeAngelis, Tom McGlynn, Bill Aaron, Mark Matisse. And it's weird to see Mark Matisse starting far back. And then the rest of the names, starting in 38th in the split is Stuttgart, Stephen Thomas, Mark Cook, J.F. Formella, Matt Jaffe, Tom Kopczynski, Al Lasorte, Kevin Maxim, Joe Morrow, Teddy Truchet, Zoe Barry, Formella, Joe Rizzo, our champion in the Stuttgart Cup, Rodrigo, Thomas Bigany, Ariel Offgang, and Larry Wexler. 52 cars, and Jonathan, I'm going to give it over to you for the start. This is a lot of cars.
Well, it's Audi versus Audi at the front with a host of Porsches and Ferraris right behind. Can they hold off the chasing pack, the R8s of Juan Lopez Santini and Geronimo Guzman? Well, in the words of Geronimo, let's get underway. Here we go. Sebring Speedtour 2023 underway, and green flag waves. A wonderful shot there of a massive field of over 50 cars as they sprint into turn one, and a good clean start.
Another great, good, clean start, like you said there. Really great to see them as they come into Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers turn 3. It looks like Juan Lopez Santini doesn't have his tires up to temperature. I saw him twitch there like we were talking about. There's 18 different tire patch surfaces here at Sebring International Raceway, and with cold tires it's going to be tough to go through as they go through this long turn 6 into the Bridge Hall Bennett section here at turn 7. Jonathan, what a sight.
Yeah, and already the Audi's starting to pull away as we go into the tight turn 7, and the Porsches have got their work cut out, and everybody jostling for position. These opening laps, Ben, are going to be so crucial, because what you don't want to do is get bogged down in slower traffic. You want to get some clean air as soon as possible with a massive field like that, as that Brumos Porsche in the number 58 just going through shot coming out of 7.
Yeah, what you're seeing there, it's so hard to get these to rotate. But here's the start of the Stuttgart Cup, Jonathan. Take it over.
Yep, here we go. And again, spreading out. 2 split grids, remember. This is 31 through 52. And away they go. A good start from the 113 of Russell Whitberg. And again, everybody jostling for position through. Nicely goes the 14. And another good, clean start. And as you can see, nice and split between the two groups. The first group now heading towards turn 17, and the first group heading through the Big Machine Spike Coolers turn 3.
And the reason the camera is so blurry, it is hot here.
Yeah.
And that's about 3/4 of a mile, that this long zoom that we're getting from the green light camera people here as they come around Mission Foods turn 17. Juan Lopez Santini, Geronimo Guzman, Tom Pank, Stephen Hammond, and David Tuwadi coming right through there. There's Nathan Bird.
Tell you what, Tom Pank and Hammond need to get the hurry up on. They do not want to lose too much ground on those Audis early on. And if you look at the qualifying times, they were so much quicker, and it's going to be a real task if they don't get safety cars or there's some sort of situation that brings this field back together again.
Unbelievable. We're seeing some talent here from Nathan Bird like we saw all last year. I'm getting some comments here. Jose Ufe is saying, let's go Marcus Ventos. He's got three fire emojis, so I hope those are positive fire emojis.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you don't want to jinx them there.
No,
Jose.
we're fired up. Let's fire up emojis.
I love it. So leave us some comments here if you're watching. Where are you watching from? And look at these two teammates here.
I know,
Great
Linus
sight.
Stern. This is a real exhibition already by these two R8s. You know, back in the day when Audi brought this car out, they were such the mark, and everybody said, you know what, they finally got it just right, the right combination. You know, it was always hard to chase down the Ferrari 488 or the Porsche 911, but Audi came out with this R8 LMS at GT3 car, and from there on in, it just dominated both the world scene, IMSA, you name it, and it's just a great little car.
It really is, and it was really cool to see those shots from Geronimo Guzman. Go tequila car, camera car, as they go through the OMP section there. Look at this, we're back on board the Blackbird Modern Asian, Kodago Tequila, and Cooking with My Doctor. ARC Racing Team, these two gentlemen used to be harsh rivals, and then they said, well, let's start a racing team together, bought almost identical cars, and are out there just having a blast. I'm not sure if there's anybody other than maybe Tom Pank or Mark Sandridge having more fun than these two right here as they come into Mission Foods turn 17. What a sight to see.
James Hammond, remember the two Hammonds involved in this, so you've got one in 4th and one in 13th position at the moment.
Stephen Hammond giving it to Tom Pank as we see Reg Williams behind David Tuwadi there. And a long field coming up into that Mission Foods turn 17. As Tom Pank goes a little bit wide, Stephen Hammond a little bit wider. If he can get that little draft behind Pank, Let's see what he's got. We talked to him at the grid and see if he's got anything for Pank.
Yeah, this is good racing between these two, and they've raced each other for many a year in this IGT Championship. Got a great illustration of the bumps here at Sebring. So easy to unsettle the car, especially going into a braking zone. And one coming up, of course, at turn 7 by the hotel. But that's the nature of this Sebring circuit, so famous by the 12 hours, of course, coming up in March.
And these two, you could have thrown a blanket over them this whole season so far. So if you're watching this, please tell us, who are you rooting for? What cars are your favorites? So great to have you here. Oh, my friend Mark Dill has joined us from Cary, North Carolina. Welcome, Mark Dill, Racer Magazine, great columnist there. As we look at this, is turn 10. You know, you won't see a lot of passing there, but if you remember TA2 a couple years ago, Thomas Merrill and Mike Skeen seemed to make it happen. And Juan Lopez Santini is just hitting all of his marks here. Unbelievable driving. He's already coming up onto lap traffic.
Well, you mentioned those two. They'll be back in action, both of them, for Trans Am TA2 later today. So watch out for two of the great experts of the Sebring circuit on track later today.
So if I told you somebody was watching with the name Dubstep Kush,
I'd have no idea.
Obviously, what country would you say that they're from?
Dubstep Kush. Sounds like an IBCN.
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Oh, Jamaica, man. Welcome from Jamaica. We've got Germany, New York, and there's lots of German cars out there. So Germany's pretty happy here, and we've got Chicago and Michigan and Daytona Beach. Thanks so much for joining us. And if you want to yell at the commentators, this is your chance. Please tell us what we're getting wrong. And if you have some insight for these cars or drivers, please inform us. The more information, the better. And there's David Tuati trying to keep Reg Williams right behind him.
Yeah, look at the gap they've pulled away. There's some Hammond and Tuati, some 8 seconds, off Guzman and Santini, who are pulling away at the front. Officially 6.9, but it's gone up now. It has 8.7 now. The gap, as you see there on your graphic on the top left. After 3 laps of 10, we're now on the 4th of 10 laps.
Look at how close they're running. Like you said, I like what you pointed out, the bumps here. That was Hendricks Airfield there that we were just on, where all the B-17s go into the European theater in World War II. Saved your British butts. And that was their airport. That was their runway. And then they made that into Sebring, and that's just so cool.
And we thank you for saving our British butts.
Yeah. See, and we're talking here now in English.
There we go. Yes.
Sorry, Germany. And here they come, David Tuati into the Bridge Hall Bennett, turn 7 with Reg Williams right behind him. Reg Williams, a really good driver. This corner is basically designed to destroy cars. It is so hard to get onto the brakes and get the car to rotate there. And these GT3 Cup cars, if you can get it to rotate there, you can get about 2 to 3 tenths of a second advantage on somebody that can't quite find that rotation.
You know, one factor that's going to happen here, such are the speed of the leaders. They're already starting to get into traffic now. And they've really got to, this is going to be a crucial time for these two Audis out front. They've got to race each other, but they've also got to be aware of how they kind of pick their spots to make overtakes, to use their strategy, and to make sure that people see them. And that if they're going to do something, they do it decisively.
Yeah, exactly right. And it is like they said on the grid, they have so much fun. There's so much camaraderie. But this group is so competitive. And I got to give a shot. We just got the first shot that I've seen of the new paving there around the flagpole. Every year we come to Sebring, they make improvements. And I got to give it up for Wayne and his team. Sebring is always at the top of the list for our drivers as Stephen Hammond comes up right behind Tom Pank.
Yeah, Hammond's been right there, hasn't he? But hasn't made a move yet. Maybe he's just biding his time when we get to the halfway point. They come out of the last corner here. And you can see that Hammond definitely looks by the body language of the car and how wide he went there, as though he might be making a move. Could be here at turn 1. Is this the time for Hammond? Whoa! Ho, ho. Well, he thought about it, didn't he?
Yeah, and I got to say, Thomas Pank, you know, he's one of our great drivers. Second, he will give you an inch, but he will not give you an inch and a half.
Right. Good racing already in this one. But the gap now to this battle between Pank and Hammond up to 13 seconds now. The Audi's killing it at the moment.
I'm getting some complaints from Flying Arts, vintage cars, question marks. Now, the vintage cars are coming up next in SVRA. This is International GT. As Stephen Hammond looks inside, we've got people joining us from Sri Lanka. More Marcus Ventos fans. William Curlier is helping everybody out, telling them they can watch the live timing and scoring on Race Monitor. But so much fun here, and how these cup
here
cars...
Here he comes.
Yeah, keep going, Jonathan, sorry.
I was about to say, here they come into 30. Oh, he thought about it again. Pank still defending very well in the back end of the circuit, but the drone just gave us a great illustration of this battle as one car slowing down there. Looks as though he's actually just letting traffic pass. But that battle is heating up nicely. Pank and Hamann, we saw it from above a moment ago.
See that Stuttgart car just trying to find a break in the fence that he can get behind. We really appreciate that. David Tuati and Reg Williams, if he can get behind that orange barrier there, that was so nice of him to do that. We really appreciate that. That means we can stay full course green, and that's what we want, isn't it, Jonathan?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's the big fear for those out front, is that they don't want a caution to basically crunch everything up together again. Over 50 cars, remember, so even though Sebring is a pretty long circuit, it soon gets tight with that many cars out here. Over the halfway point now, 6 of the 10 gone.
And what a great way to start. 52 cars taking the green flag. We've been green flagged this whole time as we see Tom Pank now making a gap. Now that they're coming up to this lap traffic, they've got to really calculate where they're going to make these passes as they go over the Respect the Bumps of Sebring International Raceway. And look at the fans on that new bleacher section. Like we were saying, constantly making improvements here. So Wayne and his team, unbelievable here at Sebring International Raceway.
Yeah, I'm also looking out of the commentary booth and seeing the cars and coffee display going on, and everybody getting amongst beautiful historic cars. If our YouTube fans were worried, we got plenty of historic cars coming your way.
Yeah, if you like cars, you're going to love watching this weekend. We're going to have something here for you as we've got this combination of Stuttgart cars coming in. David Tuati on the inside, giving it to one of them, and then the RS1 car has to stop at the back. And a lot of this, sometimes these cars like this can use that as a pick and roll on some of their competitions. And it's really fun to see that happening here. Lots of Marcus Ventos fans joining us here live, and elbows out Tom Panks from Spike, and Tom Panks' elbows are always out.
Well, Marcus Vento is currently in 10th position, chasing down Scott Blind and Juan Fea in 8th position. In 7th near pole, then Reg Williams still 6th, and then this battle between Tuati, Hamann and Pank, 3rd, 4th and 5th place. But now it's starting to get a little bit more serious, because everybody now is dealing with overtaking at pretty much 3 or 4 times a lap, and that really does absolutely get the mind. This is more like the 12 hours now, where you're always in traffic, you're always doing an overtake, trying to look at the mirrors, but also trying to go forward. Back with the Audis now, back on board with Guzman.
Look at how close he got to the wall there at Mission Foods 17, and now there's a little bit of a gap here. Juan Lopez Santini and Geronimo Guzman. And look at these beautiful cars. So happy to have them back. I kept up with them at the Classic 24 at Daytona, and look at him hitting all of his marks as he comes through Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers turn 3 in a really scary part. They're trying to set up the speed, late apex here through the tunnel, and we have Ken Fangler joining us. Ken Fangler, happy 10-year anniversary. This has got to feel good.
Yeah, I was happy with my first 10-year anniversary at home, and I'm happy with this one also.
So, Ken, we had a question here, and I couldn't figure it out. Michael Ryder's asking us, what's the difference between these cars and the IMSA GTD cars?
Well, I'm not the technical person. As you can tell, I'm a marketing guy. Okay, but there is, we have cars that come from all different other sanctioning bodies. So we've had current GTD cars. There's not that much difference. Sometimes in a GTD, they're restricted or dumbed down a little bit, so we may or may not allow that. The thing when the cars, they come to us, they have to declare what sanctioning body and rule they fit to, so we can kind of categorize them or make an adjustment. I mean, we have more guidelines than we have rules, so to speak. But
and that's something we need to clear up, because I've got 68 TOS is asking, and there is no balanced BOP with you guys. You have different classes, and that makes it really fun, because none of these cars are restricted like they are in some of the other classes. it's just races within a race, which makes for some really fun racing, but also still very close racing.
Well, we actually, Ben, you know, I think about it, and we do have a BOP. It's called driver talent and ability, yes. Okay? That's where the balance comes in. And you see that. That's honestly, that's throughout sports car racing, you know, no matter if it's a professional, and we don't claim to be professional. Our mantra is sportsman racing on a professional platform, but the racing is sportsman racing, and you know, as I said, the abilities between the different drivers is varying, just like it is in all series.
And we've got some great comments. Our friend John McCormick. John, sorry you're not here this weekend, but great that you've joined us. I love it. We've got Cannon Beach, Oregon. We've got Sri Lanka visiting us. So it truly is International GT. Germany. I've already roasted Germany. I'm sure that I've made some Porsche Audi fans mad.
You heard Derek's comments last night. He insulted every European nation. Yeah, there was nobody who was,
And what's your affiliation with Derek Bell? Because how special is that?
Well, it's been a friendship of more than 40 years. And we met at a race in California through a mutual friend in 1983. And we had dinner together through this mutual friend, and we started talking, and Derek at that time was not that enthusiastic about the gray, dismal England winters, and I said, well, come to Florida. And so he actually took me up on the offer, and of course that was in '83 when the Miami Grand Prix was starting, West Palm was on, IMSA was on a roll, and with, I think there was 4 or 5 Florida races. We did 2 Daytona races that year. So Florida was a good place to be, and he continued. We set up a friendship, and then shortly after, a business partnership. We became partners in Derek Bell Motorsports, which we had some people who actually been to programs we ran in 1988, and it was a Porsche sanction. It was the first actual Porsche factory-sanctioned driving program. It was called the Porsche Precision Driving School at Derek Bell. We went off. We did 14 different racetracks in 1 year and 3 days in each place, and that was the beginning of a friendship and a partnership, and we've continued on ever since. We've done a lot of things together, and you know, as a favor, I said, hey, I'm going to make you you already have an MBE awarded by the Queen, okay, but I'm going to give you one better. You're going to be the brand ambassador for International GT. How special is that? So I call in on his duties, and that's why he showed up last night.
Yeah, and how cool is that to have such a legend that, like you said, has raced in both Porsche and Ferraris. And unbelievable as we come into 9 of 10 laps here. So much fun to watch. This battle right here, Stephen Hamm and Thomas Pank, it's neat to see because it looks like Tom Pank has an advantage at some places. They come around Mission Foods turn 17, and Stephen has an advantage at other places. And that's kind of the fun of watching these International GT races. You can see the big bumps here as they come around Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers turn 1 to turn 3. So much fun. We've got Alberta, Canada watching right here with Dennis N. And look at those new bleachers. You know, Wayne and his team at Sebring are always adding new features for the fans. And if you haven't been to the 12 Hours of Sebring, mark that in your calendar. Just such a fun event.
But what a great warm-up this is. And I have to thank Perella Holdings and Tony Motorsport, your staff, and Greenlight, and everybody, because this is an amazing, this was the final piece of the puzzle for me as far as marketing and, you know, getting the word out of what the racing has. I mean, we're thrilled and tickled to death that at this level of racing, we're able to broadcast to the world and repeatedly. You know, you can queue it up later on and watch it. That you don't have to be in front of the TV at 7 a.m. to watch that F1 race stuff, you know, on a Sunday, but you can do it at your leisure. And you know, I'm so excited to have this, you know, technology and coverage. You know, it's just wonderful. It's something I honestly couldn't have thought possible even 10 years ago.
We have Josh's World watching from Blaine, Missouri, the stool capital of the world. So, Josh, welcome to the broadcast as we look at David Tuwati coming around this tower turn. We don't get to often see down on these cars like this, and these Porsche GT3 Cup cars, they just seem to rotate better some of the other cars I see out there.
Well, certainly between the 911s, you know, you have a different chassis setup between 911 base cars and the Caymans, and then you get to a mid-engine Audi, and you see the slight advantage that they have. You know, just the package of being a mid-engine car and the physics gives it an easier car to drive.
And look at the onboards here with Geronimo Guzman, one of the greatest names in racing. These two ARC Racing team members, and we haven't seen the in-car from James Hammond, so I have to apologize. I was the one hooking those up, and I'm sure it's my fault. So I apologize to everybody and to the Hammond family and TLM that I'm sure I hit a wrong button, and I'm sure I'm being cussed at right now by our directors in the Isle of Man, so I apologize for that, but we're getting some great shots nonetheless.
Well, Ben, you have the chance to redeem yourself because we'll have our second race at 3 o'clock, so you got some hours to figure it out.
I hope so, but I can get things wrong many times in a row.
Oh, yeah, more than once? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
and you can see him coming into turn 10. Don't get side by side. That's the leader. Obey those blue flags. Getting some great drone shots. See the new paving around the flagpole there.
Yeah.
Just so many improvements year after year. And that's Juan Gonzalez Jr. That looks like he looped it there. Looks like a single car incident. And hopefully he can get fired back up.
Facing the wrong direction he is.
And what a great start, Ken.
Yeah, well, don't jinx us, Ben.
Yeah,
but,
sorry.
I'm always a bit anxious about just getting underway, and we can say it many times of what we're looking and what the drivers expect. And they all know they're very successful drivers and usually business people and very successful in their profession.
All right, well, here we come up through Mission Foods turn 17. The teammates are now a lot closer due to lap traffic. It looks like Geronimo Guzman is trying to take the outside, possibly. He's got 1/2 more corner. Who can get onto the power faster? Looks like Juan Lopez Santini with ARC Racing is going to take the checkered flag. So we see the checkered flag wave. But if there's a PR team for ARC Racing, they're so happy to get him crossing 1-2 here with International GT. Flashing of the headlights there. Really good friends that come around Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers turn 1.
Congratulations to them. They were this exact time last year. They bought those cars. They brought them out, and they had a disastrous first start with both cars catching fire, catching light. It took this long to get parts and all the technology involved, and 901 Shop got it done. So congratulations to them.
Steve Hammond over Tom Pank.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Last minute pass there. Steve Hammond, our International GT Rookie of the Year, showing one of our veterans some stuff there.
Yeah, the rookie did it. Yeah, and I think he learned that from all his battles with David Twatty. He knows, we saw that from Road Atlanta last year as they went back and forth, and David was pulled it on Steven last year, last lap pass. He said, I'm going to remember how to do that, and he got it done.
Unbelievable. We've got fans watching from Croatia. Somebody's saying they couldn't make it to this race this year, but they're looking forward to Super Sebring. And Super Sebring, always fun. You've got to come to the 12 Hours of Sebring. Super Sebring just coming up in a few weeks. Tickets are still available. Go to the Sebring website. But thank you so much for joining us here on Speedtour TV at the Sebring Speed Tour. So excited to start the 2023 season. Ken, I know you need to go down and make a celebration at Winter Circle and thank some of the best sponsors in motorsports.
Yeah, we really very fortunate to have Mission Foods and Pirelli as our marketing partners. Our new sponsors who we gave away last night, trip to San Jose, Costa Rica. The Reynau Group donating that. Fantastic weekend on that. And Detroit Watch, we were so proud recipients of the last year's championship, won Golf Le Mans watches. So we've got some great new sponsors.
Great to have them. So there is our standings there in exhibition class, Juan Lopez Santini. And you're fully aware that you're going to have to start making an Audi class because we build that by maybe 3 or 4 more Audis. There's probably going to be an Audi class. So if you've got an Audi R8, join us at International GT. Second place, Geronimo Guzman overall. Then first place, Porsche GT3 Cup, the Mission Foods Porsche GT3 Cup is Stephen Hammond, followed by Tom Pank, followed by David Tuati. Reg Williams, so great to have him back. Dave Neopol, 7th. Juan Fayen, now in a Porsche. Our Maranello Cup champion has switched to Porsche. 8th. Scott Blind from St. Louis is 9th, but I think first in class possibly, in the 4-liter class.
Yep.
And Marcos Vento rounds out our top 10. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. That does it here for International GT, but stay here at Speed Tour TV. We've got a lot of great racing coming up and a huge field of TA2 cars with what I cannot believe I get to say. We've got probably the biggest legend in American motorsports, Richard Petty, our Grand Marshal. He's going to be joining us at that fan walk. So if you're in the area, you need to come out here to the Sebring Speed Tour, get Richard Petty's autograph. We've got almost 400 cars in our Haggerty Cars and Caffeine car show over here, and Richard Petty as the Grand Marshal. Why would you miss it? So make sure you